Right next to the square is the elegant old market building. Built in 1913 as a fresh produce market, it was the largest building of its kind in southern Africa. The market provided Johannesburgers with fresh fruit and vegetables until the mid-1970s, when it became apparent it was just far too small for the needs of the city. In 1994, a collection of artifacts housed at the Johannesburg Library as Museum Africana was moved to the market building. The new use of the space has resulted in the current-day Museum Africa. This magnificent piece of architecture is built around a huge steel structure that was manufactured in Great Britain, then shipped to South Africa. Today, Museum Africa provides a perfect home for a collection of artifacts from various generations of the history of South Africa, and in particular, Johannesburg.
It is largely a cultural history museum, but it has within it various components. It has a geological museum as well as a museum of photography.
The remaining floor space of the original fruit and vegetable market was turned into a theater soon after the vendors moved in the 1970s.
I think that quite impossible to imagine anyone in the whole of the world now building a fruit and vegetable market that looks like an extraordinary Victorian railway station. But we're very lucky, because to leave such a beautiful building to be used for arts and culture is remarkable. It was going to be knocked down in the great tradition of Joburg, and a group of people stepped in to save it. And among them were Barney Simon and Manny Manham, who were looking for a home for a theatre company. And they won the tender with some support from the city and some support from some glorious Johannesburg millionaires. And June 76, the Market Theatre opened. And it's a historic moment, because of course June 76 is the moment of the Soweto uprising. And it's been noted more than once that the Market Theatre got its mandate from history.
Our slogan was, "Come to the Market Theatre and learn South African," because we see ourselves as an institution that is constantly engaging with the realities of South Africa.
We imagine ourselves at the Market Theatre as building on the historic tradition. And the historic tradition was very much a theatre engaged in struggle, engaged in protest, engaged in articulating an anti-apartheid movement. Although not always with consciousness. If you tell a good story about our lives, what else could it be?
So even now, if you come to the Market Theatre, you will learn more about our new democracy and how we as a country are grappling with our new identity.
You Kichima on your own, my friend.
Everybody acknowledges in Newtown that the anchor tenant, as they call it, or the anchor cultural institution, is the Market Theatre Foundation. The Market Theatre Foundation historically actually provided the impetus for all the developments that followed.
I can't imagine Newtown without the Market Theatre, because even when times were tough for Newtown, the Market Theatre stayed here, and actually some businesses or some companies came back to Newtown because the Market Theatre kept the place alive, kept the place dynamic and vibrant.
Next to the Market Theatre is Kipi's International Jazz Club, which was modeled on an Edwardian toilet block built in 1911. Kipi's has arguably been one of Johannesburg's most famous jazz venues.
The venue was named after one of the most, profound, gifted musicians this country's ever had, Kipi. We raised the profile of music, of jazz, through that venue. And Kipi's became one of the top 100 jazz clubs in the world. It not only profiled South African music, but also profiled the country, the city. What is a country without its culture, without its people? And for me, preserving culture through venues such as Kipi's and all the other related venues is one of the best things that any country could ever do to itself.